Hey Joe, isn't it illegal to trade somebody else's account?
Yeah, I think it is, man. Why do you bring that up?
Well, it seems that maybe Tori trades might be trading her uncle's account, or vice versa.
Ooh, that
Welcome
sounds
back,
interesting.
everybody, to another episode of the Coast to Coast Traders podcast. I'm Robbie.
And I'm Joe.
That's a pretty serious accusation, Joe. We're going to get to that.
Yep, yeah.
But there's another $1 million Apex payout.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. There's another big payout here we want to discuss. Because this one really struck me as interesting because um he hasn't traded very long on these accounts, right? So let's dive into it and take a peek here.
Yeah.
So this trader I'm not familiar with, or wasn't familiar with before this post, is showing a $936,000 payout approved. In the comments, the only thing that was explained is that this payout here, the one that's like in the middle here that shows denied, is just simply because it's a duplicate of this one up here. So for some reason, there were two. They denied this one. They approved that one. I have
Oh,
no
okay.
I have no idea how it allowed him to even enter a duplicate entry because typically once you enter into payout request, it's not in the drop down menu. So nevertheless, uh, this just seems pretty fishy. I don't know that this is necessarily fraudulent or like a lie, but you need to get 5 payouts into to unlock the sixth one, which is the max payout available. And he's only traded 25 days. So this is incredible if he got a max pay. Like basically, dude made 66 grand per account on the copier in 25 days. It's, a little over 2 grand a day, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, when he shared that, I wasn't really putting the pieces together about the minimum number of payouts required because you're sharing it, and I'm like, okay, well, what's the deal? The
Hmm.
only thing that kind of looked suspicious to me was just the one denial. Because I mean, if there was all 20 accounts, why would one be denied? Because they're virtually all the same, profit. But like you said, uh, duplicate request. But it's just interesting because it's a situation where it's like, well, everybody else has to follow by the five minimum payout rule, but not the big fish, which is counterintuitive, right? Or
Yeah,
counterproductive to Apex goals.
yeah, and like and Trader Kane commented on this too and said that he has seen other people get paid out before they hit the max payout threshold. So they not before the fifth payout's approved, and uh,
Okay.
and claims that other people who've gotten paid out $1 million have done the same thing. But the question here was just brought up that if it's because he's an affiliate, the rules are sort of bent in his favor to show something positive. And credit to him, right? Like credit to him.
Oh
He
yeah, for
does
sure.
say in August too. I blew up 350K in August, 14 days from a max payout. Um,
Well, good for him. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's always cool to see these people pulling in big numbers. I mean, so long as they're legit.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, obviously, I'd like to get some more information on this, and we can keep people updated if we hear anything else. But the one
Mm.
key takeaway I have here, guys, is this here is like imagine having 350K in profits and not
Right.
utilizing any tools to lock yourself out from a complete blow up in a singular day. Like
Yeah.
that's rough. That's definitely
That's
rough.
that's a tough one for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so we're talking about Nvidia earnings next, or
Yeah, yeah. Before we do that, though, let's just really quick touch on what next week's episode is going to be about. So you want to roll into that, slide over?
oh, okay. Yeah. So we've been talking about Project X and Top Step and a lot of the issues recently, and I think it was our last episode. We were just a little bit early recording when bigger news came out. And so we're gonna do like just a bigger episode next week, dedicating to what's going on with Project X, and we're also gonna throw in some tips for Ninja Trader. People are gonna be wanting to see this because if you like Project X, there's gonna be a great tip that will help you transition to Ninja Trader. So stick around and come back for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I prefer NinjaTrader personally, so and that's what I've been using. It's been extremely successful for me over the last few months, especially. But I think NinjaTrader actually has more to offer once you understand and learn how to use it. So be good
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Lots of flexibility there.
for sure. So Nvidia is crazy, dude. Like this is showing an operating profit in millions of a 43,000% increase in it from January of 2011 up till now. Just absolutely insane growth, right?
Yeah, pretty wild. 80, I think it was 89% of their earnings were data center related.
Yes, I did see that too. So they post good earnings. The market pops, they pop, right? And then we get into the market Thursday morning and you just have this actual crazy round trip. Like this image right here. This image right here just shows you just absolutely how crazy this round trip is, right? Like here's the pop, here's the drop.
Yeah.
Uh
What happened to everybody? I thought the earnings were so great.
dude, I
So
don't know.
here's my take on it, Joe.
Mm.
If you look closer at their balance sheet and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they were showing a real. Well, first of all, they've been pounding their chest basically. That they're saying that they don't have enough supply to meet the demand.
Yep.
Everything's always selling out. But in the balance sheet, there was a line item that said finished goods,
Yeah.
and finished goods should mean GPUs for sale, right? I would
Correct.
think.
Correct.
And the number was really, really, really large. And so if they're selling out and they don't have enough supply to meet the demand, then why would they have so many finished goods on their balance sheet?
Yeah, because they don't have another line for inventory. They're not showing. So, like my interpretation of that was they're not showing a separate line that has inventory. So, like if they had finished goods, that could just be like what they produced in that quarter.
Well,
You
I
know?
believe this was under the inventory. So it was inventory, and then they had unfinished, and then they had finished goods. And perhaps it's my bad for not bringing that post up
Okay.
to have the specific details showing the actual balance sheet.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
I know that it was really interesting to see that they had such a large amount of finished goods, even though they're claiming supply issues.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's my speculation as to
Mm.
why it dumped, because they everybody saw the big number on the earnings coming in and they're like, oh yes, great, Nvidia is saving the market, here we go. But then the speculation is that, okay, after people actually had enough time to digest the whole balance sheet and everything, the transcript and stuff, then it's like, wait, hang on a second, this seems maybe not as up on the on the up and up as we thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it could just be one of those situations where it's like, okay, pop and drop, take some profit and then rug retail and then reload later, because Nvidia often has quite gappy earnings in general, so it's not completely uncharacteristic to see this.
Yeah. I wish I had loaded
Mhm.
up the actual chart here because that daily candle is disgusting, bro. Like
Yeah,
it is absolutely disgusting. And then we bought, we bounced off 172 yesterday on Friday. But the whole market bounced and it was relatively weak and we did kind of sell off a little bit more into the close, still closing the day green, but we're going into a holiday week now, which will probably be slow. Um, with elevated VIX, right, was over 20, and there's a lot of fear in the market overall, and a lot of that fear is really driven by Nvidia and the stance and that they hold. We've talked in the past about just how big Nvidia is and how big the tech is out of the whole S&P 500. It's like, you know, the S&P what like 494 has barely really moved this year versus the other six. So really
yeah,
really concerning. And even in this memo, um you know Jensen, the
this
CEO,
is wild.
this he knows, right? So like
Hmm.
really quickly, right? Nobody in the history has ever lost $500 billion in a few weeks. We've got to be worth a lot to lose 500 billion in a few weeks. Then he says, if we delivered a bad quarter, it's evidence that there's an AI bubble. If we deliver a great quarter, we are fueling the AI bubble. Right? This is what he's saying. So I mean, it's funny, interesting
Hmm.
that like he even used that phrase AI bubble. But he said the
Right.
expectations for Nvidia were so sky high that the company was somewhat in a no-win situation. He nodded to online chatter about the company's massive economic sway. So what even still, even with the expectations being high, like when the announcement came and then the conference call afterwards, the market continued to rise and the stock price continued to rise. And then
Yeah.
there was nothing really that sort of triggered this sell off that started happening on Thursday, other than like, wait a second, this, we're just super extended up here and it's not going any higher. Um,
Yeah.
but this is the most concerning part. If we delivered a bad quarter, we're off by just a hair. If it looked like a little bit creaky, the whole world would have fallen apart. There's no question about that. Okay, you should have seen some of the memes that are on the internet. Have you guys seen some of them? We're basically holding the planet together, and it's not untrue. So, ooh,
Oh,
dude,
yeah, absolutely. Undeniable. And it's funny that Jensen is calling. I mean, obviously he's online and he has to be apprised of what people are talking about his company and everything. But it's just kind of funny to hear him say specifically or comment on the memes and stuff.
yeah, and the fact that it's not untrue that they are holding most of the market together. So, very, very interesting. So, you shared this link with me. You want to touch on what Buffett's done here with his Google purchase? What's going on with
Yeah,
that?
so we probably should have brought this up on the last episode, but it's just curious. After all these years, Berkshire never purchased Google. They missed it back then. It could have just been the situation where Buffett just didn't understand the business, but either now because he's more up to date and educated, or changes the guard. But they've made a big stake in Google, and the interesting thing is that with their new, I think their code name was like Nano Banana or something like that for Google's Gemini AI tool.
Hmm.
But they're just showing they have extreme efficiency with their Ironwood TPUs that Google themselves make. So they're one of the only basically one of the only AI players that's not reliant on Google, and that's pretty significant.
Yeah, it's definitely really significant, especially what this post goes in there to talk about. With how much more it costs to run the GPU, and
Hmm.
the chips and everything, and Google, um, versus OpenAI, Anthropic, Microsoft, Meta, etc. They're paying 400% more for the same computational power. That's
Yep.
pretty huge. So why this matters to you, being the only so Nvidia is building this empire of being the only supplier of chips, and now this seems that their monopoly is breaking down. And like you brought up, the man who said he missed Google in 2004 just bought in 2025. So I mean, it's not like it's significantly cheaper. 27x earnings versus 34x earnings. Google's
Right.
cloud grows over 45% this quarter. And the only thing here is too, you mentioned like we didn't bring this up on the last episode. We couldn't have. It actually just came out this week. So
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we had known that he bought Google though,
yeah,
but
yeah.
but this particular comment, yeah.
Which is this?
But
It seems to be this is the driving force behind why buy Google now. You know?
oh yeah, for sure. And I'm still I like Google. I mean, we can't get away from their products. If you use an Android device,
Mhm.
you use Google. If you're on YouTube in any way, then you use Google. There's a lot of cloud people that use Google. There's Google Docs,
Yep,
cloud storage. They have
yep.
their own compute and stuff. So
Yeah, it's the
yeah,
way.
I like the company.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, they're not big,
They're not big.
not big.
But it's funny because we talked about how crappy their search was, and then you ended up finding that post on Instagram that you shared with me about how they basically had a really great search engine, and then money started coming in, and then they did their best they could to basically make search as awful as possible, so that way users have to search more and more and more and see more ads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you get like only a couple genuine search results now on like the first page, and most of it's driven by ad revenue. Because once you monopolize the search engine game, and everybody's using your product, like there you go, like that's it. The market returns there are capped out. So how do you squeeze more out of it? Well, you just sell more data and push more ad revenue. So
Yeah. So I'll
it's pretty.
clarify. I like the company, their business, like as a business model. They make money, right?
Mhm,
But I don't particularly like the company's actions, and sometimes, like specifically with regards to search.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So the Tory trades, bro. Tory trades. This is how this all kicked off this week. Is the market mommy, Mrs. Don't Be Salty, um, made a post here showing Tory trades. And Tori Trade's holding her phone. And then Tori Trade's his uncle right here showing his TradeStation account. So click on these. You can see the account number right here, 210F, I don't know, 5577 or 5677, whatever it is. The point is that when you go to the next picture, 5577, it's the exact same. 210F5577. And so this is her uncle, right? This is from
Yeah.
May
So
of 20, this is
when you
from May of
first shared that
2019.
with me, Joe,
Yeah.
um, I I didn't actually like realize. Well, I didn't actually know it was her uncle. So you first shared that to me, and I'm like, okay, somebody's lying here. And Tory Trades posted the screenshot with the account number first. So is this person just stealing her account number to make himself look legitimate? And then in the back of my head, something popped up because I remember watching a YouTube video that came up my feed about some guy says that I learned how to trade from Tori's uncle. And I didn't actually watch the full video because he was just riding a motorcycle through town and he was just talking about it. But like that was the first time I'd ever heard about her uncle, at least that I recall anyway.
Hmm.
I probably have, but that was the first time like it kind of really sunk in that her uncle was also a teacher and selling courses and stuff as well. So then after you mentioned that to me, like I'm thinking back, I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's look at this account, this YouTube account, and sure enough, it is her uncle.
Yeah. Which is now raising some serious red flags as to who's really trading this account. Um, then in this, dude, I gotta say the thing that made me laugh the most is this first comment, right? So like somebody asked, "Wow, this is a big catch. What is her response?" And then Mark and Mommy with, "We're probably gonna get another one of these videos." Like this had me rolling, dude. Like how is there 13 likes on this comment versus like people need to scroll down and see this and like this comment because this hits the nail on the head. This is the video she
Oh
did to
yeah,
try to explain that massive 250K or whatever it was drawdown she sat through. So very funny.
yeah,
Very, very
which
funny.
still left a lot of questions unanswered because from a margin perspective, it still didn't make sense how she was still able to hold that deep. But this is just going back to show that it's not cut and clear who you can trust on the internet these days. I mean, anybody really can present themselves as looking pretty reputable. I mean, frankly, it's not that hard to learn the buzzwords of whatever topic and then maybe use some large language models to help you write a script and become a real estate pusher, an AI, like, oh, build up these YouTube channels super fast person, or, well, in this situation, potentially the next trading guru.
Hmm.
It's never been easier to do that kind of stuff. And you don't have to know a lot more. You just have to be convincing.
For sure. I mean, this isn't the only situation where this is suspected. What's that kid's name? You know,
PB, I think, right?
yeah, you knew it, dude. Yeah, PB, the
Hmm.
kid who, I mean, he just sounds like a little child, and he doesn't say he just doesn't like talk. The way he talks is funny. He just and, he wants to be taken seriously as like big time trader, and everybody thinks that it's his parents or whatever, or specifically his father, who's a great trader, a good trader, like tons of experience trading. It's his money, and then just kind of using
Right.
PB as a front man for the social media exposure and earnings, and then allowing basically
Hmm.
setting his son up to spin off this business because, like, let's be honest, his son looks the part, right? You have like you know the bro with the broccoli haircut, right? Like talking about, oh, I'm going to buy a Mercedes to get today. I'm 17, all my hard work's paying off. I'm grinding while other kids are out there doing this, blah 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 blah. And it's like, but then
Yeah,
like,
because it's a great story. A
mm-hmm,
teenager trading options in high school,
mm-hmm,
making hand over fist money that people only dream about most of the time.
yeah.
And, now having his own YouTube channel, great following on X, and selling courses and stuff. So mentorships or whatever.
Yeah, no, for real. Exactly. That's what's going on. And and you look closer at that and you look at like somebody saying, hey, they made only like 2 grand or they made 3 grand this week, right? Because they'll post their P&L. It's like up 1,500 on Monday, down 750 on Tuesday. blah blah blah, and then, the net result is 3 grand at the end of the week. Like, bro, you're not buying over $100,000 a car like cars on 3 grand a week, and like the weeks are very very consistent like that. So for anybody who's watching these people, you should kind of like scratch your head a little bit and be like, wait a second, you made 3 grand this week, you made 2,500 last week, you made maybe like 3,100 the week before. It's like, how'd you go buy $100,000 car? I understand you live at home, you know what I mean? You probably have like next to no overhead, but the majority of their revenue is coming in from the social media aspect of it, not the actual trading, right? So like, there's a
Yeah, it's
there's
the Discord.
yeah, there's a little bit of a disconnect there where it's like not totally honest because they're selling you and you are buying into it this image of, oh, I can be a successful trader and do that too. And it's like, no, you can't. Like, you just like, no, you can't. If you were only making 2,500 to 3 grand a week, whatever, when you start thinking about your taxes and your bills and your, health insurance or whatever, the regular everyday things that you got to pay for, you're not buying a car. You're not buying anything.
Yeah, that shouldn't be the first. I mean, because I understand like people who would get the first windfall often want to look at, oh, what's the cool flashy thing that I've always wanted that I can buy now finally that I haven't been able to. But if you have any financial advice coming your way, then ideally the first thing you want to be doing would be to pay off your highest interest credit debt, mortgage, cars, and then not get the luxury item, but just set yourself up so that life is easier. Because I would argue, Joe, who's richer? Somebody that makes maybe 100, 200 grand a year,
Hmm.
but they have $2 million mortgage, maybe $200,000 in auto loans, and then just all these monthly expenses, food, electricity, whatever, versus perhaps somebody that's making $60,000 a year, house is paid off, no credit card debt, maybe $200 loan on a car, or maybe that's close to being paid off too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure everyone's going to kind of go towards the high dollar earner because like at least they have some they're going to think the high dollar earner, but like they don't own anything outright. And that's really that environment and that keeping up with the Joneses and flashy lifestyle was what really set up the 2008 bubble, and we're kind of falling off onto a tangent here, but we're really setting ourselves up, and these folks are setting themselves up for the same sort of thing. And this is a perfect segue into like the Bitcoin drop too, because
Yeah.
shout out to Maple. He had like a fantastic post that I was laughing but like applauding at the same time because it was spot on. He was just saying like, hey, Rolexes and APs are about to go on sale because the crypto bros are getting liquidated. And that makes
Oh, that's funny.
that makes perfect sense because you know um like this is how Bitcoin bros are probably trying to buy this dip, right? Like Bitcoin's down, what, I think it fell over $40,000 off of the all-time highs. That's like a
Mhm.
30% drop, you know
Yeah.
um and
And not only, not, well, I mean, 30% in itself isn't necessarily the worst, but it's how fast it happened.
yeah, yeah, it's like
Mm.
all in a month, all in less than 30
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, so you had shared this clip though because obviously we know about MSTR. You want
Mhm.
to talk us through this? What's going on with MicroStrategy?
Yeah. So they are, well, given how much Bitcoin's being hammered right now, they've mentioned that they can withstand an 80 to 90% drawdown and Bitcoin to still operate smoothly. But they were up 70% on their position just recently, and now they're about 8% away from being red on the position. And to make things worse, they are it's being discussed that they could be removed from the Nasdaq.
Right. That will be.
And if that happens, I think it could create an even greater cascading effect on the sale of Bitcoin. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to continue to shake people's mindset, and shake people's I guess willingness or desire to hold MSTR, as a sort of Bitcoin proxy, right? Because
Yeah.
they get delisted, that's a big problem. Big problem.
Yeah. Because how do you buy your Bitcoin? Well, I mean, through the exchanges, obviously, but we know that there's really, really bad slippage on Coinbase specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, spreads
that
are
was
wide.
a quote unquote, I guess, safe way to kind of get in Bitcoin without actually being in Bitcoin. Would you say?
Yeah, get that Bitcoin exposure. And that's why everybody
Mhm.
was buying that MSTY like yield max ETF for that is literally in like the like you know
No, it's dive
nosedive.
bombing.
Yeah, it's like you can literally hear that, like right before it explodes on the ground. It's
Yeah,
not good.
that's such a wild thing because it's like, oh, you don't buy it because the asset's going to go up. You buy it because you want the dividends to increase and you just keep rolling over. It just seemed like the most scam of a product that I'd ever seen. And
Hmm?
yeah, I mean, I don't want to see that to be a norm in anything. Like I would never want to see that
No, and
product
everybody's
type. I don't want that to be popular.
no, and like the thing is too is like that chart mirrors the MSTR chart, and they're both going down hardcore very quickly. And it's like, well, wait a
Mhm.
second. How like you're telling me the value in this is based off of like selling covered calls and option strategies off of MSTR, which the volatility's got to be super high on. So you should be killing it on these options strats. And you're paying out like the dividends are getting smaller and smaller. The values, excuse me, the value's getting smaller and smaller. What are we doing?
I mean, yes and no. That's the thing with selling options, covered calls and stuff is like you have in order to be safe, so that way you're not getting um, exercised. You
Mhm.
have to kind of have a reasonably far out strike to make sure that's pretty darn safe. At
Mm.
least that's how I used to trade them. And so when you're that far out, the premium's pretty small. So you have to trade significant size to have what feels like perhaps to you a reasonable trade of
Mhm. Yeah,
couple
for
hundred
sure.
bucks or whatever of profit.
For sure.
So that's why another reason why I just don't get this particular strategy of letting an asset tank and sure you're getting a good dividend, but like everything else is going to hell. It's like, yeah, sure you have $1,000 of shares in this thing, but now each one is worth 10 cents. Yay, whoop-de-doo. He's gonna want to buy that from you when you're exiting your position because yeah, maybe you got the dividend for a while, but at some point, uh, the amount that you made in the dividend is not matching up with what you actually put in the account.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. It's it'll be interesting to see what happens, man. I still don't understand the Bitcoin thing. I don't understand, how it's so always seems now to be so directly correlated and linked to how the market moves. If you're a crypto bro and you understand that, comment down below. Because
Yeah, sure.
I want to definitely hear that. But and then also, who's selling? Like, who's dropping their Bitcoin so fast? Because everybody is talking about Bitcoin's the future and it's going to go up, and governments are buying it, and businesses and institutions are buying it, and they're buying and they're buying. And it's like, okay. And because it looks like, I mean, because if it is going to go, in fact, continue to go up and going to go higher, right? Well, now this looks
Mhm.
like Bitcoin and its value is being, I don't want to use the word manipulated, but moved around in such a way as the regular market does, where they shake out weak hands and then they
Yeah.
bounce and they move back up, a la COVID, a la tariff day, like all these different things that have shaken out people and then whoop, they go right back higher. So the future will tell on Bitcoin, right?
It's funny you mentioned that because I could have sworn I just saw a post from Peter Brandt
Hmm.
saying something to that effect where yeah, let it go like crazy and then have the Trump administration pick up Bitcoin at a steal around like 40K or something like that.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't want to champion market manipulation in any way, but it would be possibly a smart thing. I don't know. I'm an idiot. Don't listen to what I say. Don't trust me. Don't trust my opinion on that. I'm not a financial advisor, but it sounds like it could be something worthwhile to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did see Peter Brandt's post talking about how he thinks that, it's going to go to 200,000 or so, and then 200,000 or so in the next bull market cycle. And he did also say that, he owns, at 1/20th of Michael Saylor's average buy. So Peter Brandt is a Bitcoin bull here at like 3,500 a coin. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, but he's getting roasted apparently on comments. So I think I also saw that he was posting like, "Oh, this is gonna be my last post on X about Bitcoin specifically."
Yes. Yeah. Because every time, dude, like, Peter Brand is so funny because it seems like every time that something comes up, he's suddenly like the guy who's like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with this because I've been trading in the market since 1975 and it's been trading for 50 years. And I've got all this
Yeah,
experience. And it's like, stop talking to me. Stop trying to comment. It's like, bro, you're literally on the internet. Like, you're putting your thoughts out there on the internet. What do you think is going to happen to people? I don't know.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, so quick thing, Joe. Have you ever been in a position where you've had a pretty decent day on the accounts, and you're like, okay, cool, I just passed this evaluation, and maybe you're at like a max payout, and on or you're waiting for a payout on like a funded,
Hmm.
and you just feel like you're a little bit locked up.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, hey, the market's moving really well, and I'm in sync with what's going on. I really like this price action, and I'd like to take another trade, but maybe I have accounts that I've locked for the day, or I've mentally locked out. Like, hey, I'm going to protect those profits. I'm leaving them there, and I'd like to sort of keep going. That's definitely happened before.
Yeah. So the reason I bring it up is because Lucid is actually offering 1 day to pass, but beyond that, you can actually activate that account from eval to funded almost instantly.
Yeah, actually, that's really sick. It's I think it takes less than 15 minutes to update. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think maybe they're one of the only ones in the market that's doing that. I could be mistaken,
Hmm.
but yeah, we have a code going with them right now, coast to coast,
Yeah.
40% off, and you get an extra couple of bucks off if it's your first time with them. But all in, you're looking at about $80 for 50K and $60 for 25K.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal, and that is all in.
Mhm.
So, and it's end of day drawdown, so you're not intraday live trailing your drawdown, which is another nice perk. So honestly, all things considered, because you can pass in 1 day, it does compare a little bit to TPT, right? Like, you still get to the point of a payout in the same amount of time. So TPT,
Mhm.
it takes 5 days to pass, and then on the sixth day, you can get a payout. Uh, on Lucid, you can pass in 1 day, and then that could actually count as your first trading day as a funded account, and then you can actually
Mhm.
get a payout on day 5 instead of day 6. But then from there, the payouts aren't daily; they're every 5 days, and there's a 35% consistency rule. So like, you're kind of juggling what's the pros and cons here, but um, I do like that they have a max daily loss per day too. That's just nice. I think that helps protect some traders from blow-ups.
Yeah, so good point there. TPT still has maybe a little bit of an edge for the same day payout because you can't do that on day one. Um, but we shouldn't be rushing ourselves. And sometimes, like I know, sometimes we kind of like poop on these consistency rules, but I think it's not the worst.
No, I agree. I don't think it's the worst either. I think that for most people, it's advantageous to try to abide by a consistency rule for your own mental mental state and also your actual like trading results. So,
Yeah, yeah.
all
And
right,
then quickly, just want to say we're getting close to that 500 subs. I know it's been a little bit slow, but we're gonna get there regardless. And we do really want to give away a 50K when we get there. So if you guys can help like, share, and subscribe and push it over that threshold, that'd be sweet. But
exactly.
pretty much the main requirement is just going to be subscribing to the channel. But we're most likely, once we actually hit that, cross the threshold, we're going to do some stuff on X and stuff as well, I think, and have like a proper like giveaway URL that people can use, and maybe there'll be some extra ways for you to get a couple of extra tickets, I guess, or no entries, I should say.
Yeah,
But of course, everything's going to be free, so and then don't forget to tune in next weekend. We're going to be talking about Project X and some really sweet Ninja Trader tips.
absolutely, man. Sounds great. Looking forward to hitting that 500 mark and giving away an account, and everybody likes a free account.
Yep, I would say so. Catch you guys. Thanks.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.